Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel outside the target demographic. Today we're discussing another Temu purchase, and that is a wireless magnetic phone charger. Let's get started. With the dependency on electronics and communications in our lives, carrying around a backup battery pack is not a terrible idea. So let's get into some of the sizes. We're looking at 4 inches by 2 3/4, comparable to the size of a deck of cards, which of course I don't have with me, but that'll give you an idea. And the nice thing about this guy is it will actually do fast charging, and we have a 10,000 milliamp hour capacity. So that is a 10 amp hour capacity. Most smartphones have like a 2500 to 3500 milliamp hour battery pack. So this will charge a typical phone 2 to 3 times, which is pretty convenient considering the size and form factor. We have a button here. You'll have to push that to turn it on. The display will give you the percentage of remaining charge, 85%. It will tell you with the green icon there that it is attempting to do a wireless charge, and then we have a percentage sign there. And because it is difficult to use this phone to show you that charging, we're going to be using this phone to show you that charging. So again, the orientation of this is actually going to be with the connectors down. And even with this thick case, and it will take a couple of seconds to get it to register, you have to hit the button once to tell it to try Wi-Fi charging, and you'll see it is now charging the phone. Couple things here. One, this is not a thin case. You can see here that it is the pink case in addition to plastic, and it's probably a 1/4 inch, 1/8 of an inch thick. So you can still use it for the wireless charging. What you'll notice is it does not magnetize onto it. Versus if we take the case off, it will actually magnetize onto the phone, and it does come with 2 steel rings. It does magnetize on it. It doesn't hold very firmly, but you can tell that it is magnetizing into place. And it will, as I said, wirelessly charge your phone. Now on this phone, I have the magnetic ring on the exterior of the case. I have a thin enough case that I can continue to leave the case on. And you get a couple of different benefits with it that I will show you later on in the video, in addition to the wireless charging. But going back to the pack itself, it's not light, and it's not thin. I mean, we're 3/4 of an inch, and it's got some heft to it. But for the size of it, and for the fact that it can charge your phone, I mean, 1-2 days, depending on how often you use it, camping, hiking, day tripping, you got right out of work, you forgot to have your phone on charge, and now you're expected to be at some birthday party or something like that. The other thing is, it's not necessarily just for you, it's for literally anyone with a modern phone. So this will work with Android, it will work with iPhones, you don't have to carry around a special cable for it, as long as they have a case that is compatible with it, ergo is not super duper ridiculously thick, like a life-proof case, I believe it's called, or an OtterBox case, if those are even still relevant or a thing. But this is something that you could use for the majority, like I said, of any phone that is 3, 4, 5 years old. Additionally, if you do have a cable, you have that available too. So you have a USB-A, which is just a standard USB connection, and then you could plug in a iPhone or a Android cable, or charge your camera or your smartwatch, or, and then you have a USB-C, which is for charging only. What else do we have here? The nice thing is, not only is it wireless, it's actually a fast QI wireless charge. So typically with a wall charger, you're looking at a 1 amp or a 2 amp output. So you're looking at 5 to 10 watts. This one, in my recording, using this for several weeks now, I'm getting anywhere from 1100 to 1500 milliamp hour max output wirelessly, which is phenomenal. That's usually what you'll get from something hooked up to a fast charger plugged into the wall, a 2 or 3 amp output going through a wireless charging pad. The thing with wireless charging pads, as I've covered in a previous video, they're at most 50% efficient. So this is going to heat up really, really quickly if you use the wireless. It's more of a convenience. You're going to get more capacity out of this battery by physically connecting through a cable. It's going to run longer. It's going to be more efficient. It's going to charge your phone faster, but you have to be carrying a cable. So if you have one, aces. If you don't, this has you covered with the wireless charging. Going through the USB-A, I'm able to push out 2.8 amps, 2800 amp hours. So as I just said, wirelessly, I could get 1500. Going through a quality USB cable, I can get 2800. That's almost twice as fast, twice as much current being pushed into the phone. And this will continue to stay cooler, which means it's a more efficient means going through the cable. And the capacity, the 10,000 milliamp hour, you're more likely to get more of that capacity pushed through a cable than going through the wireless charging by itself. Another nice thing is it has a double bypass, or a double pass-through is what I call it. You could be charging this from the wall, right? And then you can drop a phone on top of it, or your wireless earbuds on top of it, or your smartwatch on top of it. And you can be both charging this device as well as charging your secondary device at the same time. Some battery packs will allow you to do that. Some of them won't. I find it pretty advantageous because if I get to a hotel room, if I get into the work office or something like that, if I'm a field service tech like I used to be, the option of being able to recharge my battery pack so I can continue to rely on it while charging up a device off of that pack is 2 devices being charged at the same time, which is going to get you, more supplied, more back up to speed before you maybe get that phone call and are expected to be rolling out to another medical facility, in my case, or wherever your field service job would pull you to. Again, it does have the magnetic rings, which for me, my wireless charging car charger uses the same setup. So that ring is already existent on this phone, and that allows me to have the wireless charging pack as well as mounting my phone to the wireless car holder and car charger, which once you build up that ecosystem is pretty nifty neat. That was nifty neat. Again, using my autistic handwritten notes, it does heat up pretty good. I guess that you could say is a bonus, or a, what would they say? A feature, not a bug. It is a bug, to be clear, but it is a feature in that you know that it is wirelessly charging. If it's on the back of your phone, you can feel the heat and know that it is actually working. I'm joking largely with that. It does get quite warm. I mean, like, could use it as a hand warmer on a winter day warm. That's something to keep in mind as well. Let's see, what else do we have? I can, we did the capacities. The last thing I have, I'm going to have to pause the video, take my existing case off, and I'll show you the last benefit, which is actually pretty nice. So stand by. All right, so we are back. This is the case for my Android Galaxy S22. You'll see I do have the mounted ring. This one is kind of the Q ring versus a circle. And you'll notice there's a little notch here. In addition to, there is a notch on my cell phone holder in the car. What that's going to do is, a simple ring would allow this to spin on the axes, versus having this little notch. There's an additional magnet here, and that's going to keep the case in place. Now you'll notice that ring makes all the difference. I can flop this pretty good, and that very heavy battery pack is not going anywhere. The first thing you'll notice is you have to determine where to mount this ring. Basically with mine, it's essentially flush with this, which leads me to the last bonus of having this battery pack. The fact that you can use this wirelessly and it's magnetic allows you to do a couple of things. One, I now have a built-in hands-free cell phone holder for lunchtime in the car if you're not in your car. You can use it for watching videos and stuff like that. You'll notice you can still slide this around. You may not be getting the wireless charging, but that's not really the aspect we're describing right now. By moving this pack up, I can adjust the angle that the phone is sitting at. So I can put it about here, and now it's rolled back maybe 5-10 degrees, and that gives me a better view while hands-freeing it kind of thing. Since this has to be flush mounted anyways, with the phone in it, I can do, and of course the weight is not working with me because it's lacking the mass of the phone, but bear with me here. For the interest of the argument, trust me when I say that I can stand this phone upright when I'm counterbalancing the weight, and that now allows me to do a portrait mode or a landscape mode for photography, video capture, watching YouTube upright or sideways. All this is hands-free with the battery pack. So you basically have a phone holder, a bipod tripod, a wireless charger, a wired charger. I believe this cost me, and I'll put it right there, I think it's like $15 on Temu. Honestly, the two biggest drawbacks are the fact that it gets pretty warm when you use it wirelessly and the weight. So let me go ahead and pull out the science box. We'll look at what that weight looks like. So here is the science box. 181 grams. We're looking at just over 6 ounces. So it's not the lightest thing. You're definitely going to notice that. For reference, this is a Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, I believe. So you're looking at, depending on the size of your phone, doubling to 1.5 times heavier than your existing phone is. That said, due to its small size, I can and have been able to connect this to my phone, put that phone in my pocket, and because it is magnetized and it's honestly not so thick, that I'm able to keep that in my pocket and allow it to continue charging while it's in there. So it does give you a couple of options with that. Just keep in mind, this one being a 10,000 milliamp hour is quite heavy. I believe Temu and other places would offer a 5,000 milliamp hour. And that would make it probably noticeably thinner. I imagine this bulge, giggity, would be gone, so it would only be that thick, right? So honestly, it's not even twice as thick to get double the capacity. But that is going to diminish how long it runs wirelessly, how quickly it would heat up, stuff like that. So this one's kind of the higher end model from what Temu offered, which is kind of ironic, higher end Temu. Anyways, but we do have a couple things here as well. It will charge from 5 volts, 9 volts, 12 volts. So if you have a smart charger, like this one, that will push out multiple different voltages, the limiting, and I guess this will be the tip for the video, the limiting factor with a cable of this diameter is the amperage. That's the reason why jumper cables for a car, that's only 12 volts. It's the diameter of your thumb, if it's a quality set, versus the voltage lines above the road, the power lines. Those are maybe the diameter of your pinky finger, maybe of your thumb, but they're pushing 12,000, 30,000 volts versus 12 volts. Well, how does that work? Basically, the limiting factor with the diameter of a cable is the amount of current that can be pushed through, the amperage, not the voltage, not the power. So the same power can be pushed through a line. If your amperage has to stay at 2 amps, but you're pushing 5 volts, 5 volts times 2 amps is 10 watts. Watts is your power. So let's say this is restricted to 10 watts. Well, no, it's not restricted to wattage. It's restricted to amperage. So by keeping this at 2 amps at 5 volts is 10 watts. If we're pushing 12 volts through it, you're now looking at 12 times 2 is 24 watts. So the same cable can push more power through it, but the same current through it by both the charger in the wall and your phone handshaking and saying, I am willing to receive 12 volts, go ahead and push it. And the wall charger being able to deliver that. So if your wall charger has that option and your phone has that option and you have turned on that option in your phone, you can dramatically speed up the charge rate, which is going to get you a faster charged phone faster by having all the hardware and software set up for that. So all that to say, this guy can also benefit from that. I can push 500 milliamps at 5 volts, or I can be pushing 12 volts at 2 amps, and this will charge up substantially faster with that same setup. And it will also, apparently from my testing, provide that same benefit to the phone. Now, there was one thing I said, and I'm not sure if I was lying to you, so let me check it. This is currently a USB-C, currently, because amperage and voltage. This is currently a USB-C cable plugged into the battery pack. And this is a USB-C cable. I originally said it's only for charging, and it's not. So you can see, if I have a USB-C cable on both ends, I can charge from the pack to this through that USB-C. And that's going to give you the substantially faster charge rate. I believe that was the 2800 milliamp hour. Let me check real quick. Does this one have... This does not have my fancy dancy charging app. So let me confirm that real quick by putting you on pause. All right, so I just confirmed by plugging this into the phone from which I'm recording that the USB to USB-C is what will get you the, at max, 2800 milliamp hour is what I was getting out of it. So you're going to be pushing substantially more current through a USB-C to USB-C cable versus going through the USB-A. My note said that I did get about 22 to 2400 milliamp hour going through the USB-A. So again, this affords you a number of conveniences in how you charge stuff. I can be charging something wirelessly while plugging something in, so I can be charging 2 devices at the same time, or I can have this plugged into the wall while charging something on top of it, and this probably is going to take a little bit of time to register. I also probably have to make sure that it is on the wireless charger. So I can charge the pack from the wall while I charge a device on top of it. I can charge a device on top of it while I'm charging a device from it. And then you do have the wireless option for Android and iPhone and USB cables. And it's ridiculously handy to have, and doesn't even break the bank to do it. And that's my overview of the 10,000 milliamp hour charging pack off of Temu. Now, I will say, in looking for a screen capture for this video, it seems like this item has been discontinued, which seems to be a running thing with Temu, for better or worse. So you may not find this exact same one. The newer ones I found has more of an oval button here instead of a circular button, for what difference that makes. But you can get them thinner, you can get them thicker, you can get them that aren't magnetized or wireless transfer. But to me, even though it is a little heavy, for the price and for what it does, I've saved my sister's phone. We'll have birthday parties and the phone is either not charged at the beginning or, additionally as likely, is burning through the battery, taking all the pictures and videos and playing music and stuff like that. So being able to charge a phone, any phone, quickly without having to be tethered to a wall or, a car for sporting events or birthday parties or something like that. This is small enough that when connected to a phone, it is not blocking the cameras. So it actually almost gives you a meatier grip, almost like a digital SLR camera. And you can do better controls with the pictures and videos by having something a little heavier and something with a little bit more surface area to give you a better grip as you're doing that stuff, while being able to set it up and do a tripod kind of thing for selfies and group shots and time lapse and stuff like that. So to me, for $15, absolutely worth your money. So as always, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Any questions, comments, concerns you have, leave them in the comments section below. This is outside the target demographic. I will catch you guys in the next video.